Nathan, you and I just did a very fun video, a drag race between two of the slowest vehicles in our office.
That's right, it was the Suzuki Samurai versus the Volkswagen Beetle.
And of course you guys can click on the link in the top of the screen, check out that video, it's a lot of fun. But that got us thinking, what are the slowest new cars that you can go out and buy today? So we did some research, and fortunately our friends at Motor Trend collected a bunch of data on 0 to 60 times. So thanks to Motor Trend for the data we're using in this video. And so in this video we're going to tell you what the slowest cars were in order from quickest to slowest. So number one will be the slowest car. We're going to tell you what size engine they have, how much horsepower they make, transmission, drivetrain, and of course how much they weigh to give you some idea of perhaps why they are so slow. 2018 Subaru Crosstrek 0 to 60 in 9 seconds flat.
9 seconds flat. So let's give you guys a little bit of perspective. Why don't you grab your timer?
Got my handy dandy timer here.
Now when I tell you to, I want you to hit go. This is how long 9 seconds is going to take, okay? And I'm going to do something in the meantime.
Okay, ready?
Okay, yep, ready and go. All right, now what I'm doing is I'm uploading a picture. Let's see. Then, tell me when we're there.
9.62. We're there. Wow.
Had enough time to go online and find a picture of a Subaru Crosstrek.
Wow.
So it's a long time, and look, there are a lot of vehicles on this list, so this isn't the only one. However, it gives you an idea of how slow it actually is. 9 seconds is a long time, and we're about to expand that. And there are other vehicles on this list that have the same times, but we'll mention those as we go on.
Why is the Crosstrek so slow? Well, there's a 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder under the hood. It makes just 152 horsepower. It's paired to your choice of a 6-speed manual or a CVT, a continuously variable transmission.
Yep.
And of course, the Crosstrek has a curb weight of around 3,200 pounds.
Now keep in mind, it has full-time all-wheel drive, so it does create a little bit of drag.
The 2019 Hyundai Elantra, 9 seconds, once again 0 to 60. It has a 2-liter 4-cylinder naturally aspirated, 147 horsepower. Again, a 6-speed manual or a 6-speed automatic. They didn't say which one was used for this testing time. Front-wheel drive and a curb weight of 2,900 pounds. Now, I like the Elantra, but indeed, if you buy the base engine, 147 horsepower, even with a curb weight just under 3,000 pounds, is not enough to be very quick.
Nope, not at all.
All right, moving on the list. 2019 Hyundai Santa Fe with a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder.
Oh, this surprised me.
0 to 60 in 9.6 seconds. Now it has 235 horsepower, the highest horsepower figure on this list, by the way.
Yeah.
Curiously though, so there's a non-turbo version of the Santa Fe that has a 2.4 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder. That was quicker by Motor Trend's testing.
Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. However, once again, all-wheel drive vehicles are at a slight disadvantage because there's a little bit of drag in that system, and as such, that does create a little bit of loss time-wise.
Also, it could be a lot heavier if it's all-wheel drive. This one has an 8-speed automatic transmission and a curb weight of just around 4,000 pounds.
Now, that's a lot for a crossover.
Especially one that only has 235 horsepower. So there you go. Moving on the list is the 2019 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, which did 0 to 60 again in 9.6 seconds.
Wow.
Yes.
Now, we've had this vehicle before, and actually it was a surprising ride. For one thing, it felt a lot faster. When I drove it, the turbocharged engine is actually fairly spunky, but it's just that last bit getting up to 60 that takes it so long. We've actually taken it off-road, and it's proven to be a very good vehicle with some pretty good spunk. However, once again, we're talking about getting all the way to 60, not to 50, and that's where the big change comes in. Yeah,
the Eclipse Cross has a 1.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, 152 horsepower, CVT and all-wheel drive, and a curb weight around 3,575 pounds. So that might paint a picture. 3,500 pounds is quite a bit.
It is for something that small.
Exactly.
You know, displacement-wise. All right, let's move on.
The 2019 Subaru Forester, once again, 9.6 seconds. Has a 2.5 liter naturally aspirated flat 4, like many Subarus, 182 horsepower, continuously variable transmission, all-wheel drive, and a curb weight actually identical to the Eclipse Cross, 3,575 pounds.
Yeah, they compete directly with each other.
They do.
Now, the thing is with the Subaru, they used to have, up until last year, a turbocharged option, and that was a pretty quick vehicle, even with the CVT.
It was.
They also had a 6-speed manual transmission option as well. By taking those two things away, you're left with a vehicle that's not very quick.
2019 Hyundai Accent. 9.6 seconds, 0 to 60. Once again, this one has a 1.6 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine that makes 130 horsepower, which might explain why that time was so slow. 6-speed automatic transmission, front-wheel drive, and a curb weight actually pretty low, 2,600 pounds.
That's one of the lightest on this list.
One of the lighter ones on the list, but 130 horsepower is going to just tank that 0 to 60 time, especially like you said, it's that last push. A lot of these vehicles are actually, fairly close, 0 to 30, 0 to 40.
Right.
It's once you get over 40 that really, especially up here, they just fall off.
Oh, it's absolutely true. Now, bear in mind that the Accent is built really for city traffic, and it's a small vehicle built specifically for that. And because of that, being able to fly onto the highway at high speeds, well, frankly speaking,
priority.
Not a major priority.
2018 Toyota Corolla 0 to 60. We're getting close to 10 seconds, Nathan. 9.9 seconds. 0 to 60. Has a 1.8 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine, 132 horsepower. 6-speed manual or a CVT are available. Front-wheel drive and a curb weight of just around 2,800 pounds.
Well, fortunately, Toyota has revamped the Corolla. We're getting a brand new one that's coming out.
Yeah, we've tested the Corolla hatchback, the 2019 version. That has a little over 160 horsepower, which isn't, it's a fairly big increase. Still not a lot of horsepower, but it did make a pretty big difference in terms of performance.
Oh, and it has a great 6-speed manual option, which we highly recommend.
It does indeed. So you can also click the link up there. We'll throw a link to that video as well. 2019 Nissan Kicks. Once again, very close to 10 seconds, 9.9 seconds, 0 to 60. This has a 1.6 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder, makes 125 horsepower, CVT, front-wheel drive, and a curb weight of 2,670 pounds.
Now, the Kicks is made to look a little bit like a crossover, and a lot of people mistake it for one, but it's basically a hatchback that has a slight lift to it. There is no all-wheel drive version of this, and there's also no manual transmission option. You are stuck with front-wheel drive and a CVT only.
At least here in the United States. Toyota CHR did 0 to 60 in 10.1 seconds. By Motor Trend's testing. So we've crossed the 10-second threshold. 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder. Actually a very similar engine to what is going into that new Corolla.
Yep.
But slightly different tune. This one only makes 144 horsepower. CVT, front-wheel drive only, again. And this one has a curb weight of 3,263 pounds.
Now, the only real difference between this vehicle and the Nissan Kicks is the fact that this is a little bit more of a substantial, larger vehicle, right?
A little bit.
But in terms of overall performance, the one thing about the CHR that you and I both like is the fact that it handles really well.
It does handle well.
It's a shame that the engine just doesn't really
provide much oomph or anything.
anything.
I think for both the CHR and the Kicks, our main request for these two vehicles is more power, all-wheel drive, and a manual transmission option.
Yeah, at least one of those, right?
One of the three would be really cool. This one was a big surprise, I think, for all of us.
Yeah.
Number 2 is the Range Rover Velar with the 2-liter turbo diesel motor. Did 0 to 60 in 10.6 seconds by Motor Trend's testing. Like I said, 2-liter turbo diesel, 4-cylinder, 180 horsepower, maybe a contributing factor here.
Yep.
8-speed automatic transmission. And this is the one that I think was the big kicker. 4,491 pounds of curb weight.
That ain't light.
By far the heaviest vehicle on this list. And I suspect that's a big reason why it was so slow getting to 60.
We were confused at first when we saw this on the list because we've had other products of theirs with the 3-liter diesel, which was pretty quick.
Yeah.
And we had to look at the fine print. And, oh, it's the 4-cylinder diesel. Okay. So that's not a lot of horsepower in that particular block. In fact, if you think about it, it's just not enough to power something that weighs over 2 tons.
It really is just not enough power. Now, it should be noted, it does make well over 300 pound-feet of torque, which should say something. All right, Nathan, time to move to number 1. Drum roll, please. Number 1 on the list is the 2019 Ford EcoSport, 11.2 seconds.
That
0
hurts.
to 60. Now, why is this the case? Well, it has a 1-liter, smallest engine on the list, 3-cylinder, fewest amount of cylinders on the list, turbo, so that should have helped it a little bit. It only makes 123 horsepower.
Yep.
Lowest horsepower figure on the list. 6-speed automatic transmission, front-wheel drive, and a curb weight of 3,054 pounds.
Now, we need to address this really quickly. That is front-wheel drive only. If you get the all-wheel drive one, you get the larger, naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine and all-wheel drive, and it is a quicker vehicle. This is strictly with this particular setup, with this transmission, this engine, front-wheel drive.
There you go, guys. Those were the top 10 plus one. We kind of threw in a tie for
Now, there
for 10.
are a few vehicles that are missing from this list, and I'm wondering if you guys can identify them.
Well, guys, let us know down below. Comment. Tell us what you think should have been on this list for the top 10 slowest vehicles 0 to 60 of 2018. Thanks again to Motor Trend for supplying all this data to us. It's really interesting to see what is so slow and perhaps why it was so slow. For the Fastlane Car, I'm Mike Curtis.
Nathan Adlin.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Adios.